Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Sam and Max Hit the Books. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we're here to discuss the comics that came out on the 7th of August in 2019. A lot of good comics. A lot of comics. A lot of good comics.
Yeah, it was quite the week.
As usual, let's get right into it with one of the big releases, which is the first issue of Absolute Carnage by Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, J.P. Meyer, and Frank Martin. I want to mention everybody because every single thing about this issue clicks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this really was the big release of the week. People have been waiting. We've been waiting.
So much
Here it is. And this also feels like, Venom's back on track.
Venom's back on track 100%. We had a little bit of a swerve for the whole War of the Realms.
Yeah.
And maybe even a few of the Donny Cates issues before this one. Things may have started to get a little slow.
Yeah, right.
But man, everything snaps back into focus with this one. It's basically 3 issues in one. So I no longer minded the break that they had to take from the title while Stegman and Cates prepped this.
Right.
Because you can tell that Stegman put everything into the art. He bled onto these pages. Ryan Stegman committed serial murder over the past few weeks or months of drawing this book. And this, we've just found the bodies. And it's like, he's killing it, is what I'm saying.
Right.
This was almost like a counterpoint to that, I think it was the first or second issue of the run when Venom stops that truck. And we get that full 2-page splash of him, putting his shoulder into it and it crashing around him. And now we've got this.
Right. That was a while ago.
Yeah, the symbiote by itself, just stopping the train.
Yeah.
Get them right back together. Hey, Eddie, I'm found dark magic. I better now. Right back into the action.
Right. And it's like, no. It's like, sorry, gotta.
And then Carnage is there, and shit is dark. And it's like those original comics when Carnage first showed up during Maximum Carnage, when this guy, by himself, you can't even be in the room with him. He's just, too deadly. If you don't have the upper hand on this guy, you just have to escape. The suit is he's wearing the Grendel now.
He's wearing the Grendel now, and it's terrifying.
It is terrifying. The little bits we see of his real face under there are horrifying. He doesn't seem to have whereas his lower jaw is seriously detached, I think.
Right. Most of his skin and hair seems to be gone.
I mean, he's a corpse.
Yeah, he's totally a corpse.
Yeah. And then Spidey shows up.
Yeah, yes he does. And it's Spidey.
He's great. We haven't seen Spider-Man this good in a while.
It's true.
The whole diner conversation. There's so much emotion that Stegman gets through with Spider-Man. The body language is crazy throughout their conversation. They make this, I think it's 6 pages of conversation in the diner, just flows.
Yeah, no, that's true.
We got a lot to get through, so I don't want to talk about everything that happened.
Right.
But man, the Maker's in this.
Right.
The Maker.
The Maker. It's always been good when he's shown up lately, and yeah, they just wrapped back around to him in this one.
It works perfectly with the build-up, the one panel where he's kind of snaking his head into the panel from the side, he's got a caterpillar head.
Yeah.
It's great.
He's creepy too.
We go to Ravencroft, and we get to see John Jameson, Werewolf by Night. And, I mean, this is Cassidy, right? This is what the suit makes Cassidy look like when it is in control and is revealing his human face.
Right, yeah, no, that's totally Cassidy.
He's putting bugs in people. It's this weird combination of, The Thing and Carnage.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Norman Osborn thinks he's Cletus Cassidy.
Right, I didn't know about that, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I love how, even visually, he just looks like Cletus Cassidy.
Completely, totally.
It's a great way to get classic Cletus Cassidy and classic design Carnage into this event, even though main Cletus is currently avataring for Null.
Yes, that is true.
And then the letters page is Cletus's clubhouse instead. I don't read the letters, but that's clever.
That is. That's oh my god, it started with a bang,
It couldn't be better than this for what it sets out to be. I think it's the best possible version of what it could have been. It fully realized its potential so far. No one's saying this event couldn't shit the bed later. Right. It fully can, but as of right now, oof.
Yeah, no, they delivered on Carnage.
I'm giving this a 9.5. Sorry, I know you don't do points.
I don't do points, and that's why I'm giving it, you guessed it, a 9.
All right.
It's fantastic. Truly fantastic.
Buy this book.
Yeah.
It is worth every penny.
Truly is. We're going to now talk about issue 4 of the Savage Avengers by Gary Duggan and Mike Diodato.
Yep.
And
finally, this book gets good.
Right. There is finally a lot of action going on because you know that the monster, he's been summoned, and throughout the issue, he's just going around just snacking on people. You know, picks up a bus, tears it in half, tips it.
Yeah.
He eats all the people.
He almost is behaving like a kaiju in a way.
Yeah.
And
they gotta stop him.
Very Power Rangers-y even, for the monster to start out small and then get bigger for a city-sized fight at the end.
Right. Now, for the beginning of this issue, I was thinking to myself, wasn't Venom here? Where's he? And also, where's Wolverine? But Wolverine soon rips himself out of the monster, which is fun.
Right.
After Venom shows up, because the symbiote that we've been dealing with so far is not Venom.
Right. No, we knew that.
We knew that.
It's been locked in like that charm or whatever that they broke open.
Yeah, but it didn't say how long it's been locked in there. I assumed they just captured Venom.
Oh, no. That I definitely read that as this is a symbiote. It's like a very weak symbiote that's been locked in this thing for a long time.
Okay, well, I missed that.
Yeah. And apparently it's using the last of its life force to heal Conan's mortal injuries.
Right, which is cool because now he's it's wrapped around his sword and stuff, and we love symbiote swords.
Yeah, if that was Venom, man, when it wrapped around his sword last issue, the sword would have had a little white venom on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, Venom showing up in this as a dragon.
At first I was like, whoa, is this Absolute Carnage spoilers?
Right?
They let him just show up. He's going to be a dragon in that, and they just let him show up as a dragon in this? And then, no, it's very quickly explained as the symbiote is reacting to the energy of the evil god for unknown reasons.
Unknown reasons, because they wanted to get a symbiote dragon in there. But yeah, for a minute I did think it was the Grendel. Okay,
let me ask you this, though, because this has already been a bit of a controversial book. Because in this book, there's the scene where the evil wizard guy asks Frank Castle if he used his wife as a human shield during the
right, well, I mean, he looks inside Frank's mind and, it shows it in the panels.
So that's my question to you. Is that an image that the evil wizard was putting into Frank's mind to sow doubt, or do you believe that Marvel is retconning the origin of Frank Castle to say that it's partially his fault that his family was killed because he used them as a human shield by reflex?
Well, I hope that this evil wizard is just putting the thing in his head.
It has to be that to me. It has to be
Because,
that.
yeah, if Frank actually did that because of reflex, I mean, that's just too tragic for me. That's when I close the book and I'm like, I can't anymore.
Yeah, Frank,
too sad.
People say that Frank hesitates and makes the faces where it's oh my god, he's right. That's confirmation that this is Marvel actually changing the Punisher's origin to be this. And that can't be true.
Nah,
it can't be
true. It's them putting it into his head, and then it's he believes it, and so he's stunned because once it's in his head, boom, it's a memory. So he believes that.
Because human memory is imperfect. It'd be super easy for an evil wizard to put an image into your head that would nudge you and for you to have a split second of, oh, did that happen?
Right.
And was I in denial? Did that happen?
Exactly.
That's got to be it.
That's got to be it.
That better be it.
Right. Nah, I can't deal with the other alternative. I just can't.
Now, why does Punisher take Voodoo's glasses? So people won't see him cry?
Is that what that is?
I couldn't figure it out, but to me, that's got to be it, right?
I thought he just needed some glasses.
Maybe you're right.
He was being kind of a dick.
And I have to shout out the Venom and Conan having a quick conversation that also references Rom Space Knight.
Who?
Well, when Conan says, "By Crom," and Venom's I don't know who Crom is. Wasn't he one of those Space Knights? Because the famous Space Knight is Rom Space Knight, which Venom was a Space Knight for a little bit in continuity.
Yes.
I just thought that was a funny little reference.
That is funny.
But shout out to our listener Steve, who definitely would love that reference in this book, said by or in a panel with Conan in it. So, yeah.
So, I'm giving this issue a 7.
I like it. I think 7's right. This book has finally justified itself to me.
Right. This is what it needed to be.
It's just that we can now tell that this was 100% written for the trade paperback. Like, there was no consideration given to the monthly readership. It was like, what is the 5-issue story going to be when collected? Because this is issue 4. We've now had the setup for a final battle. We're about to. It's like so by the numbers, written for the trade, and I hate that. But
that's too bad.
What can you do? All right, so Transformers issue 10 is next up. That is going to be by Brian Ruckley with art by Angel Hernandez, Anna Malkova, and Beth McGuire-Smith. This issue is interesting because for a second you think things are happening. 10 issues in. Megatron gives a pretty good speech.
He does give a pretty... Man, like, I've been agreeing with Megatron more and more every time he gives a speech. Because, he's... The things he's saying that the Autobots are doing, that wouldn't work for anybody.
Right. It's such a loose adaptation of the previous version of Megatron, and it's interesting how it really seems like they're setting it up to be like a thing where the Decepticons were like a fire that Megatron may have sparked, but became a thing out of his control.
Right.
Like the way they're setting up Shockwave, the way they're setting it up as the Rise was already a thing, that Megatron had Shockwave co-op.
Exactly.
Yeah, the little hints that Optimus is going to officially dub the enemies Decepticons instead of Ascenticons,
right.
because they're deceptive. And Megatron's being like, oh, well, if you do that, that's going to militarize people. Like, you got to be careful, the power of words, etc., etc. It's so interesting.
It isn't.
In a way.
I like the social commentary. Like, it's boring. Except for the social commentary.
The social commentary aspect is interesting, which is good, because that's obviously the main point of the book, which should be an action book. It's fucking Transformers.
Right, yeah.
And they want to fart around a little bit with so much setup. I'm very interested what this book is going to be over, like, the next 10 issues. Like, how long is it going to take for an actual war to break out?
Right. Things to happen.
I do not fully believe that Bumblebee is not undercover for anybody. I think that everything he's doing is fully... him doing his thing.
It totally seems that way, yeah.
Yeah, I really think so now. So if he is being an undercover guy, I guess good on the authors for convincing me otherwise.
Right.
And that's about all I've got to say about this one. It looks like we might actually have some out-and-out confrontation between a team of recognizable Autobots and a team of recognizable Ascenticons.
Yep.
And what's his name? Sentinel Prime finally showed up, so... The politics are going to be hot and heavy as well, I assume, next issue.
Yeah, and he brought Starscream with him.
Brought Starscream. Looks like he brought Trax. He brought Hound. And I believe that's Nautica. And I have no idea who the girl on the back of the air raid siren on her head is. But, yeah, it's a pretty interesting retinue for him.
Yeah.
I think this was a 6.
All right. I give it a 5.
Cool.
So we got another issue of Justice League, issue 29.
Wow.
By, what's his name?
This is Scott, not Zach.
Yes.
Yeah.
For some reason I was thinking Eric this time.
Nice.
Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, they co-wrote this, and Redondo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is the artist.
Doesn't ring a bell to me. But, this is an interesting one, I thought.
It's I very much enjoyed this issue.
You've always been a Jarro guy.
I have been a fan of Jarro since he showed up.
This is the Jarro issue for sure.
It is the Jarro issue. We get this whole long bit about Jarro finding the Legion of Doom.
Like, I've never seen an actual origin for Starro either. I don't know if that's new.
Right.
Although, having him be Star Zero is very...
From a universe pocket.
Right.
A zero pocket. And this really enforces the Jarro is Batman's other son
right
thing that's been going on.
So weird. I don't know if I like the way that they're like. It's so weird. Batman's relationship with Jarro is crazy.
It is crazy.
It is crazy how willing he is to open up to this guy. It seems
out of character for Batman.
Right.
But I love it.
It's just weird. I mean, it's better than Batman poop jokes, but...
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's not Batman being weak or something. He's nurturing this cosmic, powerful being as his own. And, then you get Batman's three sons of Dick and Damian and Jarro. And you can write a comic about them all saving their dad together.
You don't like you don't like Tim or Jason? you just pissed off a lot of Tim and or Jason fans, bro.
No, they're fine, but I mean, nah.
I do love Dick and Damian as a team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and Tim and Jason, they do their own thing.
I don't think there's ever been a book that was just like what you're describing, like Robin Team Up. It's just all the Robins since we've had all these Robins.
That's never happened?
There may have. I mean, my reading record for, certain eras of comics is spotty, but dang, that'd probably be a pretty entertaining book with the right writer.
Right?
Exactly. That's Peter Tomasi. Just write the Robins book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And add Jarro.
Birds of the Bat.
Anyway, back to the Justice League. It turns out that Jarro never did find the Legion of Doom, but he actually was just mind controlling the entire Justice League in order to save them from the tragedy that will befall them in the future that he has seen.
What was he going to do? Oh, yeah, he was going to pull them into his universe?
Yeah, he was going to pull them into his universe as mindless Jarro slaves.
Because that was the best option to him, to all of his logic.
Yeah, luckily Batman saves the day by realizing what's going on, ripping the starfish off his face, and then convincing Jarro that that's not the proper way, and embracing him with an adorable hug.
Hugging that little starfish.
He just softens Batman up so much. It's hilarious.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But it turns out that because the Legion of Doom have a piece of the original Starro.
Yeah, bigger piece, I guess.
A bigger piece. They were able to read everybody in the Justice League's mind while Jarro was doing this.
Now, I do have to say that Jarro's banter during the fake him versus the Legion of Doom fight scene,
pretending he's Robin,
it was pretty choice.
Yeah,
his disses on Lex Luthor.
Yes. It was fun.
This was almost a comedy issue until it took a pretty dark turn near the end.
Right.
Very interesting, totally.
You're in a comedy world until you're not. I'd give this 6.
Only a 6, huh? I'm surprised. But yeah, that is it for me too. A 6. It's fine.
Nah, I enjoyed it.
Let's get somewhere a little faster.
But it wasn't great.
Wasn't great. You know what was great? Issue 10 of the Green Lantern, baby.
You'd think every Green Lantern issue was great.
Bro, am I wrong? Liam Sharp is looking like he's like 4 different artists on the first 4 pages of this issue.
Oh, that's true.
And shout out to Steve.
Beautiful splash pages.
Freaking yeah! Every page is incredible. The coloring is wonderful. Steve Oliff, as usual, is killing it. Magic Lantern's page in particular, with the super groovy things that are happening, and it looks like a Blue Meanie from Yellow Submarine is one of the villains he's facing.
Yeah, and I mean that pink and green color palette with all the other colors mixed in sparingly is it's really something when done right.
And it is done so right. The Antimatter Lantern is scary, and that's when true. They have the 2-page fight in bleed space, for which I read on Liam Sharp online said that he used like a new piece of software to render I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but a Mandelbrot set.
I'm unfamiliar with what a Mandelbrot set is.
It's some sort of mathematical thing, which I think is related to fractals in some way, based on the way that the background in Bleed Space came out. But it looks cool. It looks next level. It looks like they're in a nexus of multiple dimensions.
That is true. And I don't think this is the only time we get the fractal spiral this week in comics.
Oh, you might be right about that.
It might have been more in this issue, though, but we'll have to go ahead and find out.
Our Legion of Green Lanterns is assembled, and they have to go find the missing Green Lantern of Universe 11, who's trapped in Universe 15.
Right. There's those other fractal patterns I was talking about in the cube there, and and in the screen.
Right, the cube, which is a universal constant. It exists throughout all universes, and is the way that they used to travel between the various universes of the multiverse. I believe this same cube did show up in Multiversity.
Yes.
Along with this Cosmic Grail from the Destroyed Universe 15 was first mentioned in the guidebook pages of Multiversity. So we're definitely playing into some Morrison things.
Nice. I also noticed mention of the Antiverse in this comic, and made me wonder, the Antiverse must be a separate thing from the Dark Multiverse, yes?
Yeah, because I believe they're talking about the Antimatter Universe, which is like, remember when the Justice League went to go find the Anti-Monitor 1 or 2 issues ago in Justice League?
Yeah.
And they went to that place where they had to be kept like in the protection of the ring, or that's Cord. Yeah, like the Antimatter Universe that is nevertheless part of... Like, it's got a weird relationship to the main multiverse where it is an Antimatter Universe, but it isn't part of the Dark Multiverse.
I get it.
Yeah.
Dark energies and dark matter are different from antimatter.
And I cannot wait to see who this dude is.
Right. The dude who seems to have smashed one of Green Lantern's lantern.
Yeah.
But then he has his own Green Lantern.
That's even more of an old school lantern than hers was.
Right?
Like, and he's even got like the outlines of a Green Lantern style mask as part of his design. So this dude is he's a lantern.
Right, but he seems also like he might be, a zombie.
And like his proportions, super tall, super skinny. He reminds me of the Zine Lantern and Zine Arrow from that issue.
Right.
In a way, so who knows, man, but it was what a ride. Every page was a work of art.
It was. Yeah, no, I did very much enjoy this issue.
I'm going to do it. I'm also giving it 9.5. I was about to give it a 10. And while it's very good, and it's very good in so many different ways from Absolute Carnage, Absolute Carnage is really fucking enjoyable, too.
Yeah, no.
So I'm giving it a 9.5.
Well, I didn't enjoy it quite as much as Absolute Carnage, but I think I did. No, yeah, it's still more than an 8, so I'm giving this one a 9.
Cool. I cannot wait for the next issue. Only 2 more left before season 1 is over and the book comes back as something that cannot be called the Green Lantern. After the events of issue 12, how could it be?
Oh, we'll see.
I can't wait.
I don't think I could rate anything a 10 unless it was a complete story from start to finish and was perfect. But we're going to talk about something that's, it's almost a perfect story in itself.
This was cool. This was very cool.
And that's issue 2 of the House of X by Mark Miller.
Nope.
Dang it.
Jonathan Hickman. That's hilarious.
Hickman. And
Pepe Larraz.
Pepe, right. Yes. Pepe Larraz. And this
Mark Miller, are you crazy?
sorry, get names mixed up. But this was a crazy issue.
This was very interesting.
It was just it's the origin of a new mutant.
Who is a character we've known for decades.
All right.
This is, Moira McTaggart. She's got that Irish accent. She's the girl who's...
I recognize her name.
She was on the cartoon. She was always hanging out... She was the human who was always hanging out with Banshee and doing experiments on people.
Okay, yeah, totally. But
and X-Men
not a
mutant. Yeah, not a mutant. Never a mutant.
But now a mutant.
Now a mutant.
Her power is reincarnating as herself from birth.
In the same timeline. She is not multiverse hopping.
No. She dies and then starts over.
Which is very interesting because we see all of these futures, basically all these alternate timelines that in any other story would have just been literal, alternate universes.
Right.
But this is definitely... These aren't, like, different. All of these universes are happening, and it's all 616.
Yeah, exactly. And she changes things just little bits here and there, and gets totally different results, and there's nothing different except her memories of the past. And so she decides she's going to cure mutants. Get out of that. But that brings some bad dudes down on her.
Yeah, Destiny and Mystique. Because
Destiny
can see the future. So they murder the hell out of her.
Right, they burn her alive slowly. Terrible. So she decides that she's going to meet Charles Xavier. See what he's all about. And she has a good time with him, but still fails.
Right. Seems pretty close to standard timeline, that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's probably is standard timeline, or one of the ones after that where she was also friends with Charles Xavier.
Right. I do want to take a moment, though, to pause to talk about the horrible, horrible placement of the Marvel preview insert in this issue. They could not. They put it in the middle of a 2-page spread.
Yeah, that's not okay. I didn't even notice it was a 2-page spread.
I mean, this is the order you're supposed to read it in, so I guess that's how you justify it. But damn, this would have looked much cooler.
Yeah,
you gotta carefully remove this baby. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree completely because I missed that totally, and I would have very much enjoyed this full page spread.
Yeah,
that's bothersome. I could have put it on the next page, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, dumb as hell. Dumb as hell.
Well, that's annoying.
Yeah, she joins Magneto.
She joins Magneto.
Apocalypse in one.
Right. She tries joining everybody's cause. Never quite works. But maybe this time. Because she was told she only had the 10 to 11 possible lives.
Right, maybe 11. But if she ever died before her mutant power manifested at puberty, then her power wouldn't kick in. The implication being that whatever future life that was would be one where she'd be killed as a child, I guess.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, what you gotta do to change the world when you're a baby to get yourself killed?
And, it's interesting. I wonder, I guess, the difference in this timeline is going to be that she's shared all of her knowledge of all the different possible outcomes with Charles.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that comes out.
Right. How much is that played out into this whole Crackle-It thing?
Right. But I'm sure her knowledge will be very useful in the future. We will see. I give it an 8.
I give this one a 8.5.
All right, you do that.
All right, Batman 76 by Tom King, Tony Daniel.
Ooh, City of Bane #2.
Captain Atom, who is canonically super powerful. It's taken out by Gotham Girl in this one, and it doesn't appear to drain enough of her power to kill her, or whatever her stupid powers are supposed to work. It's bad.
Right, no, that is annoying. I mean, they kind of explain it as
they just use
him being in Gotham caused his powers to be sapped.
Do they say that?
I think they say something along those lines.
I missed that completely. All it looked like to me was Captain Atom getting dwarfed.
Yeah, no, it's true. But later in the issue, I think they said something to that effect.
I mean, what we find out that after he got beaten up and thrown out, they got some LexCorp power dampening batteries and put them on his wrist. So now he's powered down as punishment.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Tony Daniel, sometimes he's good on art, sometimes he's bad, but he draws one of the worst Tims I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah. I understand that.
Looks more like the Riddler to me for some reason.
Yeah.
I guess Batman's been passed out since Catwoman found him.
The highlight of this issue was Kite Man.
Kite Man, right. Kite Man. Kite Man there to be a joke. Such a joke. He goes, "Do you think this place is safe? I built it. No chance." And he's right.
Oh, yeah.
Kite Man.
He's there to die tragically.
This was not very enjoyable.
No.
I'm giving it a 2. Because it was better than that issue of Venom last week.
Okay, yeah, 2. I agree. It was better than that issue of Venom last week.
That's our new low, man. That's our low. That's our Razzie Award.
Yeah, really. But what does not get a Razzie is the Immortal Hulk. Through all of the Immortal Hulk. We're on issue 22 now. Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, as it has been this entire time. And even the slow issues of this are very enjoyable.
It's a very talky issue.
Very talky issue, mostly following Gamma Flight in what they're doing. And the Abomination controlled by Major? Is it Major?
Colonel, I thought.
Colonel?
That guy.
Yeah. The Colonel that we learned all about in another issue.
The previous issue.
Yeah, and it's enjoyable.
A lot of Joe fix it.
Right. At first it seems like it's not Joe, but then Joe takes over.
Right, it's Bruce at first, and he's like, I can't deal with this shit.
Right, he goes away. Joe comes out. Joe's gonna get stuff done. He likes being in Banner's body because he gets to go out in the sunlight.
And yeah, he can actually get away with things now that he's not an enormous gray man.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's having a good time.
He's good. Rick Jones is going Super Saiyan for some reason.
Yes, he is. But we didn't find out too much about that.
Gamma Flight fucks up.
Yeah, Gamma Flight. They teleport into the enemy base thinking they'll get the drop on him, and nope.
It was pretty funny, I gotta say, the line where before they're like, are we gonna be safe going in here? And it's like, yeah, they'd have to have psychics in order to know we're coming. And then they transport, and then fucking the Colonel guy is standing there surrounding them with a bunch of troops. And it's like, we do.
Yeah, we got psychics.
We got them psychics, bro.
Yeah, pretty good. Not a lot of Hulk, or any really. Except at the end when he breaks in to save them all.
Yeah, hero moment, Hulk, and is that Rick Jones? Is that Rick Jones just in some short, long pants, but he's got green eyes?
I didn't even realize, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, and
Rick
Betty.
Jones and Betty.
And look, they're breaking into the thing, but they even brought the journalist.
They did bring the journalist.
To break into the thing, and how about using the title of the book as the punchline?
Right.
To a joke.
Well, that's classic good writing there.
I have to call out Al Ewing for his still very cringy attempts to make this book socially relevant when Joe
By
is
having a SJW character.
right, and having Joe love her for that. He's like, you get the trolls mad online? Well, Hulk thinks you're pretty cool because of that.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if your biggest fan is Joe Fix-It, maybe you're not on the right path.
It's just interesting because you're so right, and he's making her such a ham-fisted SJW that it does really throw into question where what his true intentions are as far as these little asides that happen about once every 10 issues.
Exactly, he manages to keep it ambiguous.
Right.
And because of that, I find it kind of hilarious.
I mean, for all we know, he's trying to cram a ton in there, and he's really holding himself back. Okay, I gotta be careful. I gotta hold it back.
Right, exactly. You don't know. And yeah, that makes it really interesting. Did we give this a letter rating?
I don't think we did.
Okay. Yeah, I give this one a 6.
Only a 6. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not a lot of Hulk in this issue.
That's true. I do think it's a 7.
Even the slower ones are still great. Still beats 5.
Right. Yeah, and this definitely seems like it's the quick calm before the storm, which we've only got 3 issues left as far as we know.
Right. And I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed Jarro.
Fair enough. So next up, we're going to talk about issue 4 out of 6 of DCeased by Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine. This issue continues to be exactly what you would expect this to be. Some heroes have gone bad, and some are still good.
And some are just zombies.
Luckily, the Flashes were smart and kept themselves from getting taken over immediately because they knew that the second they were infected, everything's over.
Well, Batman basically just told them to hide.
He did what he needed to do before he died.
Yeah. And after they fight the giant woman, and then Cyborg blows a hole through her head.
That is grisly. Just the shot of her giant head laying down with
Cyborg. And oh my god, you're seeing him through the hole.
It is truly Grizzly.
Yep.
And speaking of Captain Atom, he shows up in this one too.
Yes, he does.
Also, I mean, at least in this one, they make a point of how, like, the way that he was taken out was, like, very dangerous and specific.
Right, he wasn't morphed.
Yeah, not at all. Like, he was treated very much as the power level that he's supposed to be in this book.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't have a lot to say about it. It kind of just is what it is, and that's all it is.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'm giving this one a 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5 too.
There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing super right with it.
Agreed.
All right.
Let's talk about Superman Up in the Sky, issue 2. Tom King and Kubert, who's
Andy,
first
I
name.
think is the Kubert.
Andy
There's
Kubert.
multiple Kuberts, but I believe that is who it is. But yeah,
Andy Kubert.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd say Kubert does a pretty good job in this issue. The first half of this issue is, of course, Superman in a boxing match where he's not allowed to use his frost breath or heat vision or anything,
or speed. I assume.
Or speed, just super strength and as much invulnerability as he can muster against this mercenary, this space mercenary who has information on the kidnapped girl.
I'm sure this is a guy who's shown up in previous, probably a Silver Age Superman thing as a villain to be fought. There's so many big, hard-hitting lunkheads in the history of Superman comics.
Right, and the way Superman beats him is like Worf.
Right.
When he's fighting the Jem'Hadar.
Right. This man...
I cannot defeat
this man.
Right, I cannot defeat this man. I can only kill him.
Which is one of the greatest lines. And, that totally reminds me. It's total diversion here, but Jonathan Hickman posted his top 5 science fiction TV shows of all time today. Yeah. Number 1 was DS9, and number 4 was Farscape.
Oh my god.
So, no wonder we love this guy.
That's number 1 and number 2 for me.
I don't even remember. I mean, Battlestar Galactica was number 3. And Stargate, I believe, was number 4. I don't remember. Or it was number 2. I don't remember what number 5 was. But that dude's got his head in the right place listing Deep Space Nine as the number 1 science fiction show of all time.
Well, I mean, it is. It definitely is.
Sorry for that diversion.
Yes, back to comics. I mean, I started it. I talked about war. But yeah, Superman, he just won't go down. So eventually the mercenary, he gives up. And then Superman, he's pretty badly rattled.
Yeah.
And they leave him out in space. Where he's picked up by some aliens.
See, I just assumed that them dumping his body into the sun was going to result in that cures him.
Oh yeah, maybe these aliens stopped that from happening. Because they don't know what they got, but they got mind readers and healers.
It's weird how they once again, through a completely different way, turned this into a weird some stuff happening in somebody's head story, just like the first one had.
Right.
It's very confusing to me. I don't know why I have so much trouble following the through line of the plot of these stories.
No, I agree. It seems like it's bouncing around all the time. And then you get these aliens, and they're just so weird, but like their healer realizes how good Superman is. So in order to heal him, I guess he sacrifices his life in front of his family.
Yeah. It's really dark.
Just super dark. And it was
Superman
very confusing.
would not have wanted that.
No. Well, I mean, it ends with him like, I am so sorry, and then he cries and hugs them. But I mean,
at least he's in character.
Right. He's very much in character.
I have to say, Tom King's Superman is way more Superman than his Batman is Batman.
Right. I do like Tom King's Superman better than I like Batman. This, however, I give a 4.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3. It couldn't even hold my attention.
Yeah, well, it was confusing.
Alright, the last thing we're going to talk about is the final issue of Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History by Paul Scheer and Nick Giovanetti, and drawn by Todd Nauk. This issue was fine. It was so sort of cursory in its wrap-up of things. I feel like the writers were the least interested in this era of Marvel Comics. Like, I recognized the whole supervillain escape from the raft in the beginning of the new Avengers thing, and Carnage getting torn in half as that happened during that storyline. It was the Sentry, which was funny because that was referenced in Absolute Carnage when they're standing in the hallway with Carnage and his goons coming down the hallway, and Spider-Man's like, dang, I wish the Sentry was here. The best thing in this issue, though, is why the fuck is Ben Reilly Canadian now? And he's like a Canadian Spider-Man who speaks with the most over-the-top Canadian. He's like, L.A. and the boot, and why? I do not remember why that's happening from the earlier issues.
I don't remember either, but I'm sure it's Cosmic Ghost Rider's fault.
It is. I'm sure it was, like, he involved himself in the Clone Saga during the 90s issue, or the Spider-Man issue. And
he saved some lives of Spider-Man.
Did Ben show up and he was like, just go to Canada, man, and let me handle all of this? And like, this is I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but Ben Reilly's totally Canadian now.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider, we find out that Uatu couldn't kill him because he's too universally central now, but he could make sure that he didn't prevent his own creation and then lock him in the raft.
Yep.
So that he'd be there when the breakout happened. We get a little touch on the Illuminati just arguing with each other because that's what they do. It doesn't come too much. And Watcher just talks to him for a while, and we end on Original Sin, where Nick Fury did shoot the Watcher, but that's been slightly altered.
Slightly.
And then it leads directly into the beginning of Donny Cates' Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I liked that.
That was pretty cool, and I did like the idea that all of this was just a story that
he's just telling them.
Right, he's just telling Beta Ray Bill and Cyclops' dad here all about this.
Right.
And who knows? Did he actually go back and do all that stuff? Like, how would he know about all of those things if he didn't actually go to those eras, though? Yeah. It was a nice little wrap up.
That's true.
About as good as the rest of the series. Didn't quite reach the highs as of some of the more entertaining issues.
That's true.
I'm giving this a 5. It was fine.
I give it a 6.
We did it.
That was a lot of comics.
That was a lot of comics. Thank you so much to everybody who hung with us for this absolutely marathon session. And we will be back next week with even more comic reviews.
Goodbye.